All right, so I have some materials here. This project that we're starting today is a two-part project. And within part one that we're going to do today, there's two parts, right? So I have my watercolor pencils, but as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of the colored pencils. So I'm going to be using my oil pastels. And if you guys don't want to use colored pencils or oil pastels, you want to use something else instead, crayons, markers, I want you to use the material that you like to use the most. You're going to enjoy this project so much more if you're using the materials you love. I brought this in today's class. This is actually the finished piece of this project that we're doing. So I just wanted you to kind of see what the objective was. So this is a collage. Let me see if I can get really close here so you can see that it's all different pieces of paper that have been glued together, right? And then the pieces of paper were printed on. So you can kind of see that I printed this like blue color on top of this purple. Here I printed like a green color on top of the blue. I think you can see this one. Here you can see I printed like an orange color on top of yellow. So we're going to be working towards making that. So today we're just going to do a sketch that we're going to use as inspiration for this final piece. All right, so I have my pastels and my pencils. I have some paper towels because we are going to be using some watercolor. So you want to have something handy so you can clean up any spills. I have the mixed media paper. This came in your art supply box. And I have a little tub of water. I have paintbrush and always have my favorite chunk of graphite and my eraser. And I also have my watercolors here. Okay, so I'm gonna get started on this right now. So you're gonna want to work in your mixed media um, pad here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a landscape. Now, you can use a picture that you have of a landscape, like from a vacation. Maybe you went skiing and you have a picture of the mountain. Maybe you have a picture left over from the summer when you went down the beach or anything. Maybe the view out of your house, whatever you want. But I'm just going to make up a landscape. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a horizon line, and I'm going to make my horizon line, I'm going to make it close to the top because I kind of like more land than sky, but you can put your horizon line wherever you want. You can also work, if you want to work in portrait format, you can. I'm going to work in landscape format. Now I'm gonna make some clouds. So now I'm just adding elements. I'm gonna make a cloud that looks a little like it's flying across the sky, right? And then I think I'm gonna make some trees on the horizon. So that's just some trees. I am really being a lot like Devlamic. I'm not going to focus on any details. I'm just making some super easy shapes. And, I'm erasing when I have to. So, edit as you go. I'm going to make a road in the middle, but I want my road to be very exciting because a lot of the Fauvis artwork was very exciting. So I'm going to make my road very curved and it's going to be skinnier at the top than it is at the bottom, just to give some like, visual idea of perspective moving back into space. Now I'm going to actually write on this what my color idea is, my color design. So I'm going to make the sky blue. So I'm going to put a B. I don't know if you can see that. Let me move it a little bit closer to the camera. So I'm going to put a B up there because I'm going to make my sky blue. I'm going to make my clouds orange because blue and orange are complementary colors. And even though that sounds crazy to make the clouds orange, I'm being a fauvist. So I don't care about natural colors. I want unnatural colors, right? So on my trees back here, I'm going to make the tops purple and I'm going to make the bottoms yellow because purple and yellow are across from each other on the color wheel. So they are complementary colors. I'm going to make, I am going to make the grass green. I'm going to have a field of grass and I'm going to make the road red. So I'm just marking them that way. Now I'm just going to take my oil pastels. Remember, I'm working in oil pastels. Edio says to work in colored pencils, but I want you to work in the materials that you, honest to God, feel the most comfortable with. So I'm just going to scribble because I'm a fauve and I'm going to have a lot of energy and I'm just working quickly because if I work quickly, I'm going to ignore my craving to show detail, right? When I draw really slowly, I get all bogged down in shading and perspective and all that stuff. Whoops. Scribbling so hard I broke my crayon. The other thing I really love about these oil pastels that you got in your art kit from CCA is that you can cover a lot of area very quickly and the color that you lay down is very bold. It's very saturated. And I find that super attractive. That I don't have to, scribble a lot in order to get a faint color. It's just immediate, right? So I just really love that. And then the sky is blue. I want you to notice how quickly I'm working because I don't want you to spend a whole lot of time on this. I want this to be like something that just happens for you naturally and immediately. No second guessing, no second guessing yourself. Just work and enjoy yourself. I have worn a lot of my oil pastels down to the point where I have to remove the paper to get to the crayon. So how long have I been working on this? For like 5 minutes. So I just need purple. So my oil pastels actually don't have a purple in them. So I'm gonna mix purple by putting down a little bit of red and then a little bit of blue. That's not it's not really the color purple that I would like. But when I go to do the second part, it'll look better. And here's my yellow. All right, so I have complementary colors, blue and orange together, complementary colors, green and red together, and complementary colors, purple and yellow together. So that's it. This is all you have to do. Now, this is going to inform what we do next week. You want to make sure that you have this done to this level when you come to class next week, because we're going to actually work on this in class. So if you have it at the ready, um, that'll be fantastic. So the second thing you have to do is we're going to print on these pieces of paper, right? We're going to print this pattern, right? Like I have here that I showed you. So I printed this blue on this like purple color. That's what we're going to do. So in order to print on these sheets, they have to be dry. And that's why we're doing this week. So I have one sheet of green, right? I have one sheet of red. This is just mixed media paper. One sheet of purple. I'm sorry, this is orange, not purple. And one sheet of blue, right? And when I put the paint, this is watercolor paint. When I put the watercolor on, I really try to make a very expressive brush stroke. So I'm hoping that when I print on top of these next week, the printing and these crazy wild brush strokes are just going to give me so much energy in my landscape. So I left the yellow unpainted because I wanted to show you how I painted these. So here's my purple. I only need a little bit of purple for this little tree area, and I only need a little bit of yellow for this little tree area. So I'm not going to do a whole sheet. So let me just show you how I painted them. So here is the yellow that's in our watercolor set. Now I like to take some water in my paintbrush, and not a lot. I like to keep it almost on the dry side, and you're just gonna scrape the surface of the watercolor pellet with your watercolor brush. If you don't use a ton of water, it becomes very intense. See how intense that is? It almost doesn't look like watercolor because it's so intense. So if you use a ton of water, you're going to make a mess and your color isn't going to be as fauvey as fauvey as we really want it to be. So once again, notice how quickly I'm working. I'm just I'm just moving my paintbrush all over the place, right? There's not a whole lot of contemplation. Just getting it done, right? I don't want to think about this. I don't want to think, oh, this is going to be a tree. So, the trunk of a tree, so it needs to go straight up and down. I'm just going to mess it around. These are going to take about 15 minutes or so to dry. So just try to have all these ready before you come to class next week. All right. So that's it for the demonstration.